morning everybody, how are you? This is Kay here from Papercraft with Kay, and today we are participating in Secondhand Sunday, hashtag Secondhand Sunday, hosted by Nat Williams. The idea being that you take a video of your goodies that you've found in various secondhand places or given to you or whatever, and share it to YouTube. But first of all, I want to say thank you very much for joining me today and welcome you all here. And so lovely to be here with you. Please give me the thumbs up if you like what you see, and make a comment, that'd be great, and subscribe if you would like to see some more. So just around the corner from where I live is a place called Hazel's Collectibles. So it does a lot of secondhand places, secondhand things like dishes and whatever, and glassware, and so people collect those kind of things. And they also do brand new items like gifts and things like that. So it's a bit of a mixed bag, but they sometimes have they also got some lovely linen and a whole heap of other things that you could just pick up. I've been umming and ahhing about these big circles of slides that they've got for sale that they want $10 for, but whether I want them for my journals or not. And then I'm looking at them thinking, how on earth am I going to get them out? So I need to think about how I'm going to get them out before I even buy the jolly things. I'm just worried if I break it, it'll just damage the slides. Anyway, so outside this shop, they've got some wired big bin cup kind of things where they have all these things for 50 cents. So this morning, that's what I'm going to share with you. These things I picked up for the 50-cent bins. So I picked this up for my granddaughter, because she just likes to make and things like that, and whether she'll like the to make the things or whether her father can help her, but I just thought she would like the papers more than anything else. She's 4, she loves to make, whether she, I just thought that she could use some of the papers, so I don't think it's very, sorry, I just put it over there so it's not in the way. It's not very thick paper, because it's for origami, and it's a bit shiny, so I don't know whether I would use it for anything myself. I'm not a big fan of shiny paper for card making. This was in 2016, so obviously whoever bought it never used it, because it's in the papers are in perfectly good condition, and I can't see anything wrong with them for a 4-year-old to do whatever she likes with it. It's for the 50 cents. I thought that was fine. And then I saw this and I thought, oh, I've got a few of these. But still, I just picked it up and had a look at it. And this is in 1998. But it's got some, I hope you see this, get these out of the way. These origami papers are to put everything out of the way. So can you see that? I think that's better. Some lovely pictures. And, like you'd always use the calendars and use the pictures, just take them out and put them into journals. It's just a whole heap of like that sort of layout, the dates on the pictures and the pictures there, a little bit of information about the flowers and some things, like it says here. History vilifies the Roman Emperor Valerian for his incompetent generalship and his persecution of the Christians, but his mother must have loved him, for she named him after this flower, the valerian. You may prefer to forget him and call it by its old English name, Kiss Me Quick. Why do I always call it Kiss Me Quick? Isn't that lovely? That's a lovely page. So I've got all these little snippets of information, which I think would sort of add a bit of interest to a journal. It's got some pictures are not matte, they are glossy, but I think for little journal cards or to decorate a journal with, that's lovely with the oh, they're beans, azaleas. Oh, I thought they were, what do they call them, sweet peas, but they're not, they're azaleas. Azaleas are very hard to grow where I live, so I don't really see them very often. You can see the azaleas if you go to the Mount Lofty Botanical Garden, just sort of like in the Adelaide Hills, which is a cooler, more damp environment, so they can grow them there quite well. So yeah, I just thought that was I like this. It's a shame that we can't cover that. I don't know. I'm still umming and ahhing about using hard books for journals. I like the cover. I think it's really lovely, and I just have to. I'm still not very confident with using hard covers for journals. I'm not confident with journals. Full stop. I'm getting there. Then I picked up all these embroidery books. Now, I don't do sewing, I don't embroider, but I like the pictures. And for 50 cents, look at that lovely sky. This was published in 1991. I like the pattern, for instance, could be used. You know, like, I know they're glossy, but still, I just thought some of the pictures were really, it does show you how to stitch, I know, but there's a big thing at the moment for slow stitching, they call it. You know, like people used to do this. And if you were a well-bred woman, this is what you had to do. You had to learn how to embroider. So in the Victorian times and then before that. So some lovely, it's lovely pictures. I just thought they could be used, you know, for journals. And I just like the pictures, and that's why I picked it up, because I thought they were lovely and they're very clever. Just like I said, I'm not just sewing, very basic backstitch. That's what I can do. But I have got an example of embroidery that I must have done when I was at primary school. I think we had a teacher who was into that kind of thing, and we did a napkin, and I've still got that. And we did a daisy stitch and a blanket stitch, but I can't remember how to do any of those. I think I remember how to do a daisy stitch at a push, but not too sure about a blanket stitch. But as you can see, it's got some lovely lovely pictures in it that would lend it lovely to just add difference to a journal. I just thought they were lovely, and they've got, of course, they've got the designs at the back. I really like this one, but I'll just keep that as a reference for something. You could just maybe just use it as a template for some paper collage, create a paper one. Anyway, so there's that one by Heather Joins, and there's this one again with different embroidery techniques. I have heard of some of them because, like, I watch the Antiques Roadshow on Channel 2. I think it's replayed on 7 too as well, the Antiques Roadshow. One of those other lifestyle programs. 1997, and again it's got some. Now, see, like I could have used that last week with the medieval theme for the 2022 collage challenge, created by Julie and Lee. So I'll put their links below if you want to see those challenges. So this was stump work. I've heard of stump work. It's a sort of like a raised picture kind of thing with these sort of like puffy kind of faces. But again, I just thought the pictures were really cute and lovely. They're very, you know, they could add to a journal. You could do a farmland journal using some of these pictures. I think that not just farmland, but just to add a little bit of interest. If you were doing like a vintage journal, you could use these, certainly. So, like I said, I think that they used the fabric, and shows you how to make them into puffy sort of faces. It's not something that I would buy myself, but I can see, you know, the attraction for it. So just again, lots of just different ways of how you can do it, and just different pictures. I just thought they were lovely. Oh, see, there's another 17th century pin cushion. Another thing I could use for my medieval theme. Yeah, see, that's a lovely one as well. Not finished, obviously. Says, does it say? Yeah, in 1996, the Victorian Albert Museum in London purchased this unfinished treasure. So this was the 17th century method of drawing the outlines in ink and then they just embroidered in the middle. Lovely. Beautiful. That's lovely too. Yeah, so I just thought there was just some really lovely pictures in there as well. Again, I wouldn't do the embroidery, just... Some people say to me, well, how come you've got the patience to make cards and journals? But I just don't have the patience for sewing, I don't think. Saying that, I did actually make a quilt by hand. I sewed it all the edges by hand, but it didn't last forever because it just, you know, came undone eventually. Again, this is another embroidery book. This is 2009. Like I said, I picked all of these up because of their lovely, lovely... results. Is that the word I'm looking for? Oh, sorry, I just bumped you. Beg your pardon. Sorry, I just bumped you without thinking. But isn't that gorgeous? Really lovely how, you know, like, it's almost like they've sort of dampened the material and made it bleed in some sort of way. And how the different... So look, the colours are just beautiful. Oh, the colour's lovely. So that's why this is a glossy book as well. But again, look, see, like that picture's beautiful. That one's lovely. Yes, I probably should show that one too. There's a bit of a thing going around on Instagram about crafters supporting Ukraine. So they're doing a live auction of people's works and things like that on Instagram to support Ukraine. And if you are a follower of Niam Bailey, she's a Tasmanian person, and she has the links of that on her Instagram account. I'm not too sure of her Facebook account. I'll have to have a look. So I'll put her link below as well if you're interested, because they're auctioning off people's works, and they're also auctioning off bags of goodies. So it's happening in April, I think it is. So I'm not a big fan of live things on YouTube, but like when people live stream, I don't tend to watch them a lot. Just not my thing. But for this particular thing, I might see if I can support it by watching and bidding on different things. Because I think it's just awful. Awful. I think people have just... Every time you wake up this morning, the last few weeks, it's just every time you wake up, there's been some further bad news. It's not Ukraine, it's the flooding in Queensland and New South Wales. And then if you're an Australian, you probably would know about Rodney Marsh was a wicket keeper for Australian cricket team. He died this week because he had a heart attack the week before. And then Shane Warne, who is another cricketer, he was a great spin bowler. He died of a heart attack last night at the age of 52, and that's just, it's just so sad. See, the Ukraine symbol is sunflower, so that's lovely. That's really lovely. Brings a choke to your throat thinking about all this poor people in Ukraine because of the threat by the Russians. I think they do generally feel that they're under threat because they've had so many invasions themselves, Russia, and I can see that, but I think Putin is, it wants the rush back the way it was, and you can't go backwards, but in the meantime, all these people are going to suffer because of it. Anyway, sorry, raving on about politics. I should be raving about politics. Isn't this a beautiful book? This is beautiful. I try. It's so beautiful. I don't know how they get this sort of like muted sort of look. It's lovely, isn't it? It's beautiful. Look at that bee. Isn't that clever? People are clever. That's beautiful. See, they've got that same sort of muted, where they've done sort of some dyeing, so it bleeds out. So they've put added water so it bleeds out. They've used organza here. It says here. Doesn't really say how they made that bleeding effect, unless it's the organza that creates that sort of bleeding look. you know, like when your hair goes or sort of bleeds out. Is that that's what the word I'm looking at? So that was lovely. So there was all of those were 50 cents each. So that was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 things for 50 cents each. So that's pretty good haul, I thought. In these bins that they have. And then I went inside the shop, and they have a section where they have all these vintage things. And I saw this last time I was in there, and just put it down because I thought it didn't look in good condition. But in the end, it just called to me, and I had to pick it up. It's just very fragile, and as you can see, it's very worn. It's got some stitching here. I did try to find a date, and I just couldn't find a date anywhere. So this was obviously given to teachers to help them with their teaching of history. I'm not too sure what ages the kids were, but it's a colouring in kind of book, and they had other ones, other volumes in this series: visual geography, handwork, visual history, visual botany, visual nursery rhymes, visual fairy tales, and visual scriptures. All of those would be really interesting to see. So they've got the cover as obviously brown paper. Is it paper? It sort of feels very thick. And somebody's obviously coloured it in. They did charge me $3 for it, considering it's in pretty bad condition, and that's why I didn't pick it up the first time. I thought that was a bit much. And they are really fragile, as you can see. But I just thought it would be another thing to add to journals, just for the interest. Whether I don't even know whether I want to cut off the edges, because some people might actually quite like that, and think that was really wonderful. I just, because I've got no idea how old it is. It just looks pretty old. The pictures, you know, the drawings themselves are pretty old. And, you know, so it was a way of teaching the people history. The Romans, the Crusades, King John and the Magna Carta. I think a lot of these must have been British stories. The Prince of Wales, the Black Prince. So whether it was actually an English text to use in schools, or whether it was actually here in Australia, because we did do a lot of the English history because we had those ties to Britain. So not really, like I said, there's no other information in this book, because see, there's lots of English history. Raleigh, Napoleon, well, actually it's actually French history. The Stuarts in the Parliament, Queen Victoria, House of Hanover, which is what Queen Elizabeth is now. They rename themselves what do they call themselves now? Oh, the House of Windsor, that's it. And yeah, so it's all British history, I think, and this just tells you a bit more about the different kings. Suggestions for colouring the empire on opposite page. So those days there was a British Empire, and it just shows you a picture of Europe in 1919 and Europe in 1914, about how things changed, because in the middle there was this Austria-Hungary empire, and then in the middle in 1914, and then after the war they all got split up into different countries. And as you can see, you probably can't see, Ukraine and Lithuania were part of Russia in those times, and I think that's what Putin's thinking is. Anyway, like I said, I've looked 3 or 4 times and I still can't see a date, or, you know, there's a publisher but not a date. So it's just really interesting, and that's why I picked it up, just for pure interest. So anyway, that's all my finds for today. give me the thumbs up. That'd be wonderful. Comment would be even better still, because it helped me grow my channel. I seem to sort of hit a bit of a plateau at the moment, so the more likes I get, the more comments I get. That would be really fantastic. That will lift my profile a bit more. So thank you very much for joining me today. Please join me next time and subscribe if you want to see more. Thank you. Bye bye.